The Liberals are looking for a new leader, and there's 6-7 people interested in the job.
Yeah.
Here's a clip of what some of them had to say during their campaign launches.
I've helped manage multiple crises, and I've helped save 2 economies. I know how business works, and I know how to make it work for you. Experience versus incompetence. Plan versus slogan. Calm versus chaos.
Canadian flag.
Oh, no.
I am so glad to be here at the St. Albans Boys and Girls Club today.
This was her whole thing.
Now is the moment to stand up and fight for Canada that needs us to be united, that needs every single person and every single supporter across the country.
To have someone who's going to stand up and fight for Canadians. I'm not entering the race because I need a job. I'm doing this because we have to ensure that we represent all Canadians, whether they are working class, whether they are business owners, whether they are young entrepreneurs. And we also need to ensure that we get the respect that Canada deserves at the international stage back. And I will stand up and I will fight for all Canadians.
Nope.
No French?
No French.
Okay, the Liberal Party of Canada is the party of official bilingualism. It's going to be a tough one. I don't speak French either, so
The point is that whether the Quebecers or English Canadians, it's not the language that matters, it's what is that they deliver to them.
But the language matters very much in Quebec.
No.
It matters in Quebec.
Trust me.
Profoundly.
Trust me. At the end of the day, for French Canadians and English Canadians, the matters most is that how the children and grandchildren are going to prosper in this country.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what language they speak, right?
Trust him.
Trust him.
This guy knows what's going on.
As if French isn't a part of Canada for decades.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So basically 7 people declared publicly, right? Chandra right there.
Yeah.
Arya. There's Jaime Batiste, Frank Baylis, Mark Carney, Chrystia Freeland, and Karina Gould, the House Speaker.
Yeah.
Former House Speaker.
Yeah, I mean, basically it comes down to 2 people, right? Mark Carney and Chrystia Freeland, and no one else really matters. And Carney was the former governor of the Bank of Canada.
Yeah.
He's a former governor of the Bank of England. I think he went to Harvard. He worked at Goldman Sachs. And he was the former economic advisor to Trudeau.
Yeah.
I believe it started way back during COVID. And then...
his babysitter.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah.
Something along those lines, right?
Was it him or LeBlanc?
Was it him?
I think
or
it was
LeBlanc?
Oh, LeBlanc, sorry.
Yeah, LeBlanc was
Yeah.
Trudeau's former babysitter.
Yeah, no. Carney's just been his advisor, right? And then now he's talking about, strong economy he wants to build, right? When he's been the one that's been a part of that the whole time.
Yeah, we were even talking about it, I think, a few podcasts ago. You kind of predicted that he would be running for you're like, he's kind of slimy and he's planning on overtaking him.
Yeah.
Because he had, Trudeau had him replacing Freeland, right?
I think that was his plan.
That was the plan. Then he backs out of it. And now,
he didn't formally say that was his plan, but that was the rumblings that you were hearing everywhere, right?
Kind of a snake.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
You're first his economic advisor, right? And then everyone's hating on all of Trudeau's policies, from the carbon tax, anything that he's been doing, capital gains, all of that stuff, right? And you have him who's basically saying that now I'm going to come and fix this.
Yeah.
How are you going to fix it? You've been a part of the problem the whole time.
But aren't people blaming Freeland more than...
Well, these guys...
was the finance minister.
These guys were both part of his financial camp, right? With the economy and the money, how it's managed, right? And Freeland, I don't know if she said it there, but she even says that she would take away the capital gains tax.
Yeah. Oh, the capital gains as well?
Could be, you could Google.
The carbon tax, they're both backing out of, but it's kind of funny. It's something that they both signed off on, right?
I mean, this guy, Mark Carney, I don't even think he has any political experience. I think somebody even asked him about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's not the first job. I've had many jobs in my life.
As a banker.
Yeah, which is fine, right?
Then he would scrap capital gain tax hikes. So
yeah.
Not altogether.
No,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
altogether.
I think it's
wild if it was all together.
oh that then maybe she'd get some votes.
Yeah.
But
How
yeah,
much support she has. Her campaign was crazy.
I mean,
That was a lot of Free Palestine, I think.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
She couldn't even get through her
Yeah.
speech at all. It just kept happening. It was crazy.
I think a lot of that is also that she was in the background of every single like Trudeau press conference.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
She's always standing there, right? So
She had to be. Though.
yeah,
That's her-
obviously she's the deputy prime minister and the finance minister, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be standing there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the whole country, I feel like, is in this place where they want to shift from Trudeau's government. And
Yeah.
just because he resigned, this is kind of the remnants of his government.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And these people are running on campaigns. To me, I just see a bunch of people throwing each other under the bus.
Yeah.
And like, if it was going to be more of this,
Yeah.
it's the same thing as Trudeau.
Exactly. They signed off on a lot of his policies. They agreed to it. Obviously, they're in his cabinet, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to be like,
It's hard to trust them, right? Like trust anything they're saying.
It
For
just
sure.
seems sneaky and slimy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I feel like if you're the Liberal Party, I don't think that it's not their turn right now.
Right.
I think they're like, for Canadians to get that trust in the Liberal Party, I don't think it's happening within the next couple of years, a few years even. I think it's going to
change for sure.
the whole overhaul of it, right? And then people will start to believe it. And that's if the economy gets fixed, deficit,
Oh, for sure.
gets controlled, these policies with from carbon tax to this capital gains thing to everything that they've been pushing, right? Spend. When that stops and the economy starts to then do better, I feel like eventually Canadians might look at Liberals, right? Right now, who wants to look at Liberal government?
yeah.
It kind of seems like an irrelevant race, but the thing that would worry me is that politics, right? At the end of the day, you change a face and you throw
For sure.
like a new face behind the same message, and all of a sudden people start thinking, maybe it'll be different,
Yeah.
right? And they start polling, and
Yeah.
these polls come out. Like, I don't know who answers these polls,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they're not as far behind as they used to be. Like,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah, I saw something recently that they were only 7 points behind.
I saw that and I was like,
From
BS.
30 points behind.
Yeah.
I don't know about
Yeah.
that.
That's BS.
Yeah. It could have just been someone just writing something.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these polls are hard to trust too. There's so many of them, but Freeland specifically, like the budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
How it went so far over budget, and her resigning, and how weird that all looked. And now she's running to replace the guy, right?
I mean, even when she was appointed the finance minister, originally there was people that were like, she's a journalist, she has no financial background. Like, why is she even? I think I've heard Kevin O'Leary even talk about it.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, I don't like what Kevin O'Leary's been saying about Canada anyways right now. He's saying that they should unify both countries.
Yeah.
From that camp, really, he just seems like a friend of Trump's, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he has Canada's best interests at heart at this point. But yeah, looking at this race, it's weird. Like, did you look into who had more endorsements?
out of the two of them, it seems that like Carney definitely has a lot more. He has about a dozen ministers behind him. Some big names. Anita Anand, transport minister. You got Bill Blair, defense minister, and the former police chief. Then Melanie Jolly as well, foreign affairs. You got Kamal Khera, diversity. Harjit Sajjan, emergency preparedness minister. And there's a bunch of MPs too. So he's got a lot. He has the most backing out of all of them. And then Freeland has the health minister. I think his name's Mark Holland.
Yeah.
That's the most noticeable minister.
And
he
then
has
just a
backing.
couple MPs, right?
And a few MPs, and then the other people. It's essentially a two-person race. And
Yeah.
to me, it's Carney's to lose.
Yeah.
I find it hard for the public to trust Freeland really after this whole.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. She's because even though Carney's was part of the economically advising Trudeau, he wasn't so public. You didn't see his face everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't suppose like the general public knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Freeland was always there.
Yeah, she was
in the
always
background
there.
at
Exactly.
every announcement.
Yeah.
She's always there.
So because of that, I think Carney, you can kind of get away with being like, it wasn't part of my plan.
Yeah.
And I think what he's trying to do is appeal to the capitalist on the right by being like, I'm a former Bank of Canada governor, former Bank of England governor. So I feel like that a little bit works in his favor. But
Yeah.
like, I think it's like a race where unless something happens, that most Canadians aren't going to get fooled by this.
I hope not. I'm kind of scared of Carney.
That's saying most Canadians actually vote.
That's the other thing.
That's true.
Who the hell actually votes?
I mean, this time around, don't you guys feel like it's going to be different because people are kind of fed up with everything that's happened? And
Hopefully.
you might see a bigger voter turnout.
Hopefully. They're going to need it. But, yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to this gender.